It disappeared.
Eugene's not coming tonight, he texted me.
How are you feeling?
Outs, as they say in Tibet.
Men's on men's.
Still not 100%, no?
No. So, welcome to the Tibet Center here at 502 North Ridgewood Road in South Orange, New Jersey. We shall begin this evening by reciting the prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West, which you'll find in the FAQ section if you scroll down. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems, and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West. For all the people living there, together with their near ones, who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them, may all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. The Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once. The Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the Samadhi, which examines the Dharmas, called profound illumination. At the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, "How should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge?" And Avalokiteshvara answered, "Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Form is empty, emptiness itself is form, emptiness is not separate from form, form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors in consciousness are empty. Thus all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge, and since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear, they transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering, should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed, Tadyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhisvaha. O Shariputra, this is how a Bodhisattva Mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family. Profound transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you are taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering and the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praised the word of the Blessed One. Now we generate bodhicitta. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Okay, so let's do a rosary of Om Mani Padme Hum. And think of developing the wish to remove the suffering of all sentient beings. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. So we've been discussing meditation. I presume that you've all developed single-pointed meditation since we met last.
Could be half hour.
That's very good. So we left off on page 168. Even after you achieve some ability to maintain focus, inevitably you will find yourself losing attention from time to time as your mind wanders away from your object, either because of external events or because of internal thought processes. When you notice that your mind has wandered away, consciously recognize this and gently bring it back to the object. If necessary, every now and then refresh your visualization of the object so that your image of it regains its clarity. Two qualities are essential in this kind of meditation: mental clarity and stability. Mental clarity assists you in maintaining your focus. Stability assists you in ensuring clarity by monitoring whether or not your attention remains vibrant. To help ensure the continued presence of these two qualities, you need to develop and then to apply two important faculties, those pertaining to mindfulness and introspective awareness. It is through constant application of these two faculties that you can gradually learn to train your focus so that you become capable of sustaining your attention for a prolonged period of time. So, mindfulness and introspection. So I thought I'd take a look at Tsongkhapa in his great Lamrim. And he talks about the two, as we begin to develop concentration, as we work at it, the two obstacles that we face are laxity and excitement. And we have to understand what laxity is and what excitement is. So I find the way it's expressed here to be very helpful in developing a better understanding of these obstacles. So, what is excitement? It is a unique state of mind considered a derivative of attachment, which pursues pleasant objects and acts as an impediment to meditative serenity. So excitement generated by or somehow related to attachment is one of the main obstacles that. So this is when we are working at remaining focused on our object. Last week we were using this Buddha image, and while you remain focused on it, there will be a time when you will be there will be the arisal of excitement. You will be excited, yes.
Distracted.
And the other thing that takes you over is a certain laxity. So there are three aspects to this definition. Its object is attractive and pleasant. Its subjective aspect is that your mind is unique and unquiet and scattered outwards. As it is a derivative of attachment, it engages its object with a sense of craving. Its function is to impede stabilization of your mind on its object. So the reason I say this is that the more we understand the mechanics of excitement, the more we can actually identify it and begin to deal with it. When your attention is inwardly fixed upon its object, excitement, which is attached to form, sound, and so on, pulls your attention helplessly towards these objects and causes distraction. As it says in Chandra Gomin's Praise of Confession, just as you are focused on meditative serenity, directing your attention towards it again and again, the noose of the afflictions pulls your attention helplessly with the rope of attachment to objects. The question arises, is it excitement when there is scattering in which other afflictions distract your mind away from the object, or, for that matter, when there is scattering towards other virtuous objects? The reply is excitement is a derivative of attachment. So being distracted by other afflictions is not excitement. Rather, it is the mental process of distraction, which is one of the 20 secondary afflictions. Scattering towards virtuous objects may involve any virtuous mind or mental process, so not all scattering is excitement. Okay. So that's excitement. Now dealing with laxity. Many translations render laxity as slackness, but this slackness should not be construed as meaning discouragement. As for its definition, most yogis among these snowy peaks seem to consider laxity to be a lethargic state of mind that stays on its object of meditation without scattering elsewhere, but lacks limpid clarity. This is incorrect. For lethargy is said to cause laxity, so the two are distinct, as suggested in Kamala Shila's stages of meditation. If being oppressed by lethargy and sleepiness, you see your mind become lax or in danger of laxity, and what's being pointed out is that there's this distinction between laxity and lethargy. And the reason that the distinction is made is that when we are working at applying antidotes, there's a difference between what you apply for laxity and for lethargy. Lethargy is taking a nap, going for a walk. The sutra Unraveling the Intended Meaning says, if there is laxity due to lethargy and sleepiness, or if you are afflicted by any secondary afflictions in meditative absorption, it is a case of internal mental distraction. Wow, this is internal mental distraction. This states that when your mind becomes lax due to lethargy and sleepiness, it is distracted inwardly. Asanga's Compendium of Knowledge also discusses laxity in the context of secondary affliction of distraction. But distraction, as he explains, may also be virtuous, so it is not necessarily afflictive. Of lethargy, when Asanga's Compendium of Knowledge says, what is lethargy? An unserviceable state of mind classified as a derivative of delusion. It works to assist all root afflictions and secondary afflictions. So this derivative of delusion is the heaviness and unserviceability of body and mind. In Vasubandhu's Treasury of Knowledge, Odo commentary states, what is lethargy? The heaviness of body and the heaviness of mind, which are the unserviceability of the body and the unserviceability of mind. Laxity means that your mind's way of apprehending the object of meditation is slack, and it does not apprehend the object with much vividness or firmness. So even if the mind is limpid, if your mind's way of apprehending the object is not highly vivid, then laxity is set in. Kamalasila's second stages of meditation states, when your mind does not see the object vividly, like a person born blind or a person entering a dark place, or like having one's eyes shut, then recognize that your mind has become lax. And he adds, I have not seen a clear presentation of the definition of laxity in other classical texts. So, so bear that in mind when you're focusing on.
Very surgical.
Sorry?
Very surgical. Every little
Yeah.
move of the mind is classified. It gives you confidence. Someone's been there before. So it's
Are we advised to read this kind of material like that again and again and again? Because that might help us get it?
You're advised to read that to the extent that when you are actually working at focusing the mind, you know how to apply the antidotes, and what the affliction is that you are experiencing, so that you know just what antidote to apply and how to apply it. So yes.
Thank you.
And it seems like that the antidote to lethargy would be sleep, or some kind of maybe action, like going for a walk or something like that, to wake up a little bit. And it seems like in terms of laxity, it's almost like, is that more like because you don't understand what you're trying to do, you've dissociated slightly? Or because you don't maybe grasp what, like, the object of your meditation fully, you're not able to really digest it?
So in both
Antidote would be
cases,
like
both of
deeper
these things, laxity and excitement, occur once you have already developed pretty good focus.
Right.
So at this point, when you are remaining focused, then you get these other obstacles. You get excited, and you have to bring your mind back down to remain focused. Or there's laxity, which is a lack of sort of tightness of holding on to it, which can come about due to slight lethargy. Now there are things that, I'm talking with no experience, but the meditator would be pushing himself or herself, trying to remain when recognizing that there is lethargy, work towards augmenting the vitality of his or her meditation. Laxity, working at tightening the grasp of the on the object. But if you really are lethargic, if you really are feeling overwhelmed by lethargy, there's a point where it's good to stop, to go for a walk, throw cold water on your face, look far distances. There are different things that you are meant to do. So, back to our So to summarize then, in a typical formal session, we begin by settling our mind through breathing. Then we choose our object of meditation and focus our attention on it, now and then monitoring whether our attention has been distracted. When we notice our mind wandering, we gently bring it back to our object of meditation and continue. Finally, when we wish to end our session, we can do some deep breathing exercises once again so that we finish in a relaxed state of mind. So let's do a little bit of that. So we sit up straight and really try to have your spine be straight with your head slightly inclined forward and your arms not touching against you, not sticking way out, but comfortable, with your right hand on your left hand with your thumbs touching. Your tongue touching the top of your mouth. You look down the slant of your nose and begin by simply watching the breath go in and out, watching at the point of your nostril. And we'll do this for just a couple of minutes. Okay. So now I would recommend that you take the statue of the Buddha here as the object. Visualize it 4 feet before you with a certain glow, a certain heaviness, and about 2 inches high. And don't look out there. Hold that image in your mind. I'm going to take a look.
Does that mean we have our eyes closed when we're doing it to hold it in our mind, or we can have them open and hold it in our mind at the same time?
You're meant to have your eyes open looking down. You are not holding it in your mind by means of your eye consciousness. You are holding it by means of your mental consciousness. So you're not relying on eyesight to hold it. Okay, so visualize 4 feet in front of you, 2 inches high, heavy, glowing. And when the mind goes away, when you find that it's going away, just bring the mind back. Okay. Now again, breathe. Follow your breath. Okay. So we have a long way to go. But though we can't expect to attain true calm abiding, we can work at developing a little more focus. So now there's a second present moment awareness. With your mind quite relaxed through some form of breathing exercise, another useful practice is to try to rest your mind in, as it were, its natural state of basic awareness, or what we can call present moment awareness. When you begin, it is important to set a forceful intention not to allow your mind to be swept away by thoughts of what might happen in the future or recollections of things that have happened in the past. Instead, establish the intention to place your mind simply on the present moment and to keep it there as long as possible. When undertaking this practice, it is a good idea to sit, if possible, facing a wall that has no striking color or pattern. Then, after several deep breaths, you simply rest the mind and start to observe it. So, why don't we just try to do that? We're not going to... let's not mind the fact that we don't have white walls to face, but simply, after focusing on our breath, then take the mind, our clarity, knowledge, our awareness as what you focus on, and determine, as it says here, to remain focused on that. And that means developing a certain sort of tightness of concentration, not letting the mind go off, just holding it there. Okay. Start with a little bit of breathing just to calm the mind. Bless you. Okay. So this is actually quite a difficult thing to do at first. In our everyday life, our mental world is dominated by object-oriented states, either in the form of sensory experiences or in the form of thoughts, memories, and ideas. Very rarely do we experience a state that is not tied to a specific content, but simply rests in the mind's natural state of awareness. So when you initially engage in this meditation, inevitably you will find that your mind wanders off. Thoughts and images float through your mind. Your conscious awareness, or a memory pops up for no apparent reason. When this happens, do not get caught up in the energy of these thoughts and images, but by trying to suppress or enforce them, simply observe them and let them go. As if they are clouds appearing in the sky and fading from view, or bubbles arising and dissolving back into water. Over time, you will begin to catch glimpses of your mind's basic state of awareness, or what could be called its mere luminosity. As you proceed in this way, every now and then, you will come to experience short intervals of what feels like an absence or a vacuum. When your mind has no particular content, your first success in this will be only fleeting, but with persistence over a long period, what begins as a glimpse can gradually be extended, and you can start to understand that the mind is like a mirror or clear water in which images appear and disappear without affecting the medium in which they appear.
That's a big thing.
One important benefit of this practice is the skill you gain of being able to observe your thoughts without being drawn into them. Like a detached onlooker watching a spectacle, you will learn how to see your thoughts for what they are, namely constructs of your mind. So many of our problems arise because in our native, untrained state, we confuse our thoughts with actual reality. We seize on the content of our thoughts as real and build our entire perception and response to reality on it. In so doing, we tie ourselves to ever tighter into a world that is essentially our own creation and become trapped in it like a length of rope entangled in its own knots. So, you have any comments?
I was kind of shocked, like in meditating more often during the day. Usually I'll go once a day or so, sometimes none a day, mostly once a day. But then once I was doing it 3 times a day, I feel like my mind would it was coming up with images and things that I'd never even seen before, or like just generating stuff. And it felt like it was calling its bluff even more, because it was really just fantastical, like didn't make any sense, images and stories. So it was kind of enlightening to see that, because it was like I couldn't even believe it if I tried, because that was completely fabricated in a way that.
But that's not all good stuff.
Yeah, certainly.
That's all
Yeah.
stuff coming up that
Yeah.
you have to. And this is interesting. This is useful. This last thing that we did, just to do a little bit of this, just to take a look at the mind itself. Okay.
I think I'll bring something up. I think it's off on a tangent. I'm not sure if there's any significance to it, but if you watch TV, when you hear and see, it's actually different functioning, and you're not doing both at once, is what I've heard, that you go from one thing to the other back and forth. And it seems like when you're watching your breath, That seems more single function. When you're watching your mind, it seems almost like a double function happening, where you'd be going back and forth from the watching to whatever your mind is doing. Because you couldn't be doing both of those at the same simultaneously, maybe. I don't know if there's any significance to that or not, though. Just,
Watching the breath as opposed to watching the mind.
yeah.
Because the mind and breath are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
So your mind can watch your breath, but how does your mind watch itself?
In that last, I think that when His Holiness talks about becoming like a vacuum, I think that that's a little insight into where we're heading. Because at this point, when we watch our mind, we're watching it with a little bit of visual memory, all sorts of other things sort of popping up. Well, eventually, we will experience the mere yeah.
So it's that vacuum, you're not really watching the vacuum, you're experiencing it. Because your mind isn't throwing up all the images,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not really, your mind is out of the way in that vacuum, right?
Well, I know as much as you do.
Clear vacuity. One Lama said clear vacuity, and that's what appears for that with the lecture. And use the word appears. So, that's a lovely word.
So here it's mere luminosity. So that mere luminosity is one of its characteristics is that we experience an absence or a vacuum where the mind has no particular content. That's so you're experiencing that. That is the experience. I don't know that that's I don't know that there's subject and object. I don't know. I think that we just sit in that experience. Well, when we're watching the breath, the mind is watching the breath. So the breath is one thing and the watching is another.
It's dualistic.
Yeah.
When your mind quiets down enough to where it's not doing anything except watching itself, then it would not be dualistic anymore.
I think that
Yeah.
that's the point.
No
Yeah.
object, no
Yeah.
subject.
Is it sort of like the mind has ceased, just briefly, there's that pause where you're just existing and you're just experiencing,
You're just
and
experiencing.
your consciousness isn't trying to label and paint pretty pictures.
So it's like the experiencing the subject rather than the object. I'm saying that. Tony, you dropped your mask.
From the doctor's office.
So I don't think that there's anything I can sort of establish as being correct here. I think that this is the material that we should work at applying and considering. And I find it very interesting that we are being given this as as work, as an assignment to do.
It's holiness planting seeds.
Yeah, in this book.
And he's giving this to non-Buddhists.
Yeah.
Well, this is tight and how generous.
So all these things, even, though I was reading Tsongkhapa before, and Tsongkhapa is referring to other scholars, of Indian scholars, none of it is, it's all neutral. It doesn't have any religiosity. It's techniques for developing a better control over our minds.
And most people don't even think their mind is doing this or that. They're just waking us up.
So we come to training in compassion and loving kindness. Another very beneficial class of practices involves cultivating positive mental qualities such as compassion. So now what's interesting is that cultivating positive mental practices, in other words, these other, of course it's beneficial to develop an awareness of the breath or develop an awareness of the mind itself. But in terms of giving a value to it, it's not considered, as I've said before, mere calm abiding, mere focus is neither virtuous nor non-virtuous. It's neutral. What the quality is determined by is what you focus the mind on. So here, which is why here, if we wish to work on cultivating positive mental qualities such as compassion and loving kindness, these types of exercises make use of deliberate thought processes. Once again, we begin with a preliminary breathing exercise to relax and settle the mind. Only after that preparation do we begin the actual practice. These exercises are particularly useful for occasions when you are struggling with your attitude or feeling towards a person with whom you have difficulty. First, bring that person into your mind, conjuring up a vivid image so that you almost feel his or her presence. Next, start to contemplate the fact that he or she also has hopes and dreams, feels joy when things go well, feels sadness when they do not. In this, there is not an iota of difference between the other person and yourself. Just like you, this person wishes for happiness and does not wish to suffer. Recognizing this shared fundamental aspiration, try to feel connected with the person and cultivate the wish that he or she achieve happiness. It may be helpful if you silently repeat the wish in words, saying something like, "May you feel free of suffering and its causes. May you attain happiness and peace." Then rest your mind in this state of compassion. Of the two types of mental cultivation practice mentioned earlier, discursive and absorptive, this way of cultivating compassion primarily involves a discursive process. But every now and then it is also good to rest the mind in a state of absorption, somewhat in the fashion of bringing home a concluding point in the course of an argument. So we'll try this. So let me just finish. Since I've already discussed the topic of compassion at some length, I shall not elaborate further here. Many of the points outlined earlier can be brought into your deliberate cultivation of compassion, and this combination of methods of discursive mental training interspersed with absorptive mental training is equally useful in the cultivation of other inner qualities, such as patience and forbearance. Okay, so think of someone whom you've had difficulties with. Work at recognizing that just as that they want happiness and want to avoid suffering in the same way that you do. And then work at developing a sense of compassion for them, and then try to hold on to that thought towards them. So first, breathe a few times, just watching your breath go in and out, and then go right into this. Well, I think that's a good place to stop. So, Darren, are there any names? I prostrate to the Omniscient One. Thus the Buddha, Bhagavat, Tathagata, Arhat, Samyak Sambuddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of world, the charger and terror of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those alone with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strength cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of Nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He is not stained by the realm of desire. He is not stained by the realm of form. He is not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdom. He rises in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in Nibbana. He abides in ultimate perfection. He dwells on the Bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The holy Dharma is good in the beginning, good in the middle, and good in the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavat teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma, which is taught by the Bhagavat, is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Yana, they enter completely. They enter insightfully. They enter straightforwardly. They enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with palm-trained palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are a field of glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata. Pure, the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace.
Having liberated, they show the path of liberation. They are fully dedicated to the discipline.
They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore, the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure. 8 verses for training the mind. with the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them supremely dear. Whenever I associate with others, I will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions, I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as a disturbing emotion arises, endangering myself and others, I will firmly face and avert it. I will learn to cherish all religions as if I had found a precious treasure difficult to find. When others have treasured with abuse, slander, and so on, I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I have benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering of my mothers. I will learn to keep all these practices undefiled by the stains of the ego and the concerns, and by understanding all phenomena as like illusions, be released from the bonds of attachment. Prayer for the swift return of Dr. RINPOCHE. Exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop, sole refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes, Guru Lobsang Tuan Dojachang, please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast waves of aspirational prayers, Lord of speech of the victor Lobsang's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guests in unsurpassed great awakening. Yet you have withdrawn the activity of the form body that serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you to seek the existence end, to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by bodhicitta drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings, and wish-fulfilling jewel. Return as the glory of Losang Tempe, magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Karmayama, and Srimati Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors. May you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh life.
Thank you.
Thank you. And this Saturday at 1 o'clock here in South Orange, New Jersey, there will be a White Tara puja, which you are all welcome to.